just 1 second. All right, everybody, welcome to Word on the Street, powered by Lean Solutions Group. Trey Griggs here with the Street Crew. We got some good folks already in the house. Not too late. Raquel, what's up? Coming from Pittsburgh. Colin from Denver.
Hello.
We got Nathan from back in Chattanooga in Freight Alley in God's country. How you guys doing?
Good.
It's Friday. It's always a good day.
Hey, Raquel, just so you know, I put you on an email as a reference for a prospect. So you maybe get a call if you haven't already.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so tell them the good, tell them the bad, all that. But you should tell them about all the wonderful things you're going to do in life now because you're partnered with me.
You're right. I haven't announced this really anywhere. We officially bought our RV this week.
Do you have a picture of this?
I do. It's sitting outside. It's kind of still surreal. Like it's just kind of like a long time thing.
You bring that home and you're going, oh wow.
Do you open?
Yeah.
It's like when you get a new car. Do you open the window and look at it a lot outside?
I walk out my door and I'm like, oh, there's that. Not sure if you guys can see it.
Oh, that's awesome.
There it is.
Oh, that's sick.
Good one.
Is that a Class A? Yeah,
It
Class A.
is. Yeah, we were
for
looking
you.
for C's and then found a good deal on a Class A. It just kind of worked.
Yeah. Well, our Class C is about to go up for sale because we're going to upgrade to a Class A. So anybody out there looking for a Class C motorhome with it's been delicately used and taken care of, we'll make you a good deal on it. But that's
What's the
exciting.
first trip you got planned, Raquel?
Oh, we want to go to Texas. That's
Nice.
probably next week. So we'll see.
Oh, wow. So,
I mean, right.
so we think we want to go to Texas, but we're going next week somewhere.
As a logistics call and a group that's in logistics and understands it, there's no flatter land in America, and you'll get the best fuel mileage you'll ever get there.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Except when you're going west into the wind, there's a little bit of a headwind that you'll go into. But coming back east, that's gonna be great fuel mileage.
I don't know about y'all, but I can see Trey in like a lean staffing Prevost with like marble floors
Oh yeah,
soon.
right up his
Like
alley.
you pull into
That would-
a PGA Touring event and it's sitting like right by the 18th green.
That would be pretty slick. I'm not gonna lie, that would be pretty nice. I just met somebody actually at the Home World Delivery Trade Show that had a Tiffin diesel pusher. Those are pretty nice as well. So I would not be critical about having either of those.
Those are super
splash
nice.
lean across that we can write it off, and then I'll just take it to different functions. Raquel, I'm gonna be in Texas next week. I leave on Saturday. I'll be there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When are you gonna be down there?
I don't know yet. I'll ask me on Monday. I'll probably have a better idea. The plan is it this weekend.
This is the life of an RV person: is that you go, gosh, we just gotta go somewhere, and you just hop in and you just go. It's so
That's part of the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
It really
Well, now
is.
with this one, the generator's on board. So we don't have to
Yeah.
worry. We can just move boondock anywhere. So
It's so nice being self-sufficient like that, or whatever they call it. But it's so nice to have that because you can literally just park it. And just so you know, Cracker Barrels will let you park for free overnight, and they don't care if you're on the generator all night because they want you to come in and eat breakfast in the morning, and they're just good people there at Cracker Barrel. I'm gonna give them a shout out. So go visit Cracker
They
Barrel.
had beer too.
Uh-huh. And then also, if you're a good Sam's Club member, you can go to Camping World and spend the night at any Camping World that they have. So just call ahead on that. And there's several other places. I would encourage you to get the app RV Parky. It's a great app if you don't have it.
Yeah, we've got it.
course
Awesome.
Juan has a pretty cool looking ceiling today.
Wow,
Yeah, what's going on there?
Yeah, what is going on with your camera?
He's like, oh
And
man,
it's off.
Well, I'm not in my usual setup. I'm in New York, so it's a mess.
you are.
And I have nowhere to be. Like,
Are you in an
nowhere to
Airbnb
put
in New
you guys.
York? That looks like
no,
an
I'm in my brother's house.
Okay. Because
For
that
the time
literally
being.
is an Airbnb in New York right there. Like literally, I stayed in New York one time in Airbnb, and I'm not kidding you. It was a room that was maybe 20% larger than the bed with a bathroom. And it was obviously sold as this great 1-bedroom apartment. I mean, it was like literally just a bedroom. I mean, that's all it was. There was no apartment.
I had a buddy.
That sounds as New York as it gets.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I had a buddy living in New York when COVID happened, and he was
Yeah.
stuck in an apartment that size, and he was telling me he was literally losing his mind. I could not imagine.
It's brutal. I was there one night and I couldn't get out of there fast enough. It was just absolutely crazy. But Juan, what's going on, man? How's everything down in Columbia out there? How long have you been in New York, and what's going on down in Medellin?
Not much, man.
When
Not
did you
much.
New York?
Man, on Wednesday, but I arrived in the US on Monday. And
Okay.
Colombia is just same old, same old. And today
Yeah.
I got my vax, so got that one
You're
out
doing
of
the
the
one
way.
shot or the two shot?
Nah, I got the Moderna, the first one
Mhm.
Hey, what time did you get it?
this morning. I'm
Drink
doing
some
fine.
water and take a nap here in a couple hours. You'll wake up in a couple days.
Okay. I have a
I'm
flight
just letting you
tomorrow.
know.
That's very dangerous.
No, I'm just
Very
letting you know the
dangerous.
Moderna, you'll feel like you got hit by a baseball bat in the arm. And then about 5 minutes later, you'll get really tired.
Well, it's
Okay.
interesting because I heard a theory from Curtis Triber and Chris Triber. They're talking about it. One of them got COVID before getting the vaccine. One of them did not, and they said that if you got COVID, the first one hits you hard, or vice versa, and then if you didn't, the second one hits you hard. I don't know if that's true or not, but Juan, good luck with that. See what
I
happens.
had COVID, and the first one, I got the shot after, and the first one hurt in my arm, and I slept. The second one, I got mild flu symptoms and slept for a full day.
Nice. Kyle, what's up, buddy?
Now I'm getting all paranoid.
Juan's concerned now.
Thank you.
I gotta get on like a 6-hour flight in a few hours, and that doesn't sound promising.
Oh man, where are you going?
Los Angeles.
Oh wow. Okay.
Go.
Making the tour.
Anybody
man,
headed
making
to
the
Los
rounds.
Angeles now?
No.
What?
Nice.
It helps you
You
want.
got
I
it
had
all
the
trimmed
shot,
up,
it's
man.
fine. Oh yeah.
It's all got a haircut, got the beard trimmed up. What's the occasion? What's going on? You gonna be a best man in a wedding or what? What's going on?
No, he's recording in the studio booth. His next hottest rap album right now.
Cool, man. I've been in the studio. You just hadn't been on this thing for a while. I was looking like a damn mountain man, and I had to get a freaking haircut.
You were,
like,
man.
maybe
It was
it's
getting like Ryan Schreiber like, and I was
I was about to join the beard gang. I was about to say hashtag beard gang on everyone LinkedIn post.
Crazy. John, what's going on, man? How are you? How's Dallas? He's there somewhere. Hopefully he'll join in just a minute. I'll be in Dallas Saturday night through Wednesday for the McLeod User Conference.
Actually.
There you are. We got you now. Keep going.
Oh, me? Okay. No, I say it was actually a nice little chill in the air out there this morning. I took a nice long bike ride. And it felt wonderful. So maybe fall is approaching.
No. If I looked at the weather, it's going to be mid-90s for the highs the next 3 or 4 days there in Dallas, unfortunately. But after that, I think we're going to get into that 80s and 70s weather, which is nice. But it was
I think at least our mornings will be nice.
Yeah, I had a jacket on this morning when I went out, and it was great. So I prefer that weather much more than waking up to 75 degrees. So that'll be good for sure. But McLeod conference is this week. Sunday through Wednesday, and then I'm going to the International Factoring Association conference in Omaha, Nebraska, Thursday and Friday, and then coming back home. So trade shows are back in. We'll see how that goes. But the one in Philly was great last week. Saw a lot of customers, a lot of prospects. In fact, Juan, I saw some of your customers down there. We'll talk later. It was good. We had a great time. It was good to be in Philly, and it was good to be back and see people. And it's funny because, like everything, it started out really strict from people wearing their mask, and by the last day, nobody was wearing a mask, and the workers had to wear theirs, but they weren't even saying anything. It was just it's interesting how that tends to happen here. Nathan, you were saying as we started the call that down in Mexico they took it very serious, and you've never felt more comfortable. Talk about that.
We flew into Cancun. Let's see, 3 days left in August, and we got back this last Wednesday. So we were there for, I think, close to 15 days.
That's a decent trip.
The GM of the hotel it was my 14th time at the resort. The GM and I are extremely close friends. He comes and picks me up from the airport. I always buy clothes for his kids from Walmart and take them to him. Stuff that, I brought him a Columbia fishing hat just because they can't buy Columbia down there. And we're just really close friends, and always have been. He was explaining to me, in Cancun, 92% of their anything financial has to do with tourism. It's tourism dollar. And the employees and the citizens and the government know that without tourism, that area of that country is nothing. So they take it extremely serious. They know that without tourists, they don't have a job. They know without a job, they can't pay their bills. And they also know that first thing he told me, he said, unlike the government in the United States, if you miss work in Mexico, you don't get any money. You just miss work. Well, a lot of the tourists at most of the large hotels like that, they have dorms for their employees that stay there. Well, if you move out of that dorm and miss work, they're going to move someone else in. When they move someone else in, you get back on the list, which means you're not going to find work until there's an open spot. So we would you'd leave the hotel and walk anywhere. You walk down a main street, and every block they would have someone shooting temperatures randomly of people, putting hand sanitizer in your hand all the time.
Wow.
They had those sanitizer mats that are big in China. When you walk into a store, it's like a rubber mat. You step on it. It puts sanitizer and solution on the bottom of your shoes. Then you take one more step and you're on a rug. You wipe your shoes and then you're clean and you can go inside. Those were at Hooters in Cancun. I mean, they were everywhere. I mean,
wow.
It was
So Nathan,
intense.
what you're saying is they had rules. They actually stuck to those rules. They had expectations, and people abided by that because they didn't sway.
There is he told me, he said the biggest difference between COVID in the United States and COVID in Mexico is the government has told you it would be advisable to get a shot. He said, we have parties, but he said, all I ever see in America is the Republicans and the Democrats arguing and fighting over it. And I'm not going to do this because this side and that side. And he said, it has nothing to do with sides, man. It's just the right thing to do.
Yeah. I was just watching a report this week because here in Missouri, especially in southern Missouri, not so much Springfield kind of, but like in the deep southern part of Missouri, kind of in the back, there are areas that are just getting drilled right now by COVID. And they went down and
right here.
Some of these people. Yeah. Chattanooga. They went down and interviewed some of these people and they're like, I'm not taking your vaccine. You took our president. Like that was literally the answer. There wasn't I'm not sure if it's safe. I don't trust, vaccines. I'm healthy. None of those things came out. It was literally, I'm not taking the vaccine. You take my president. Right.
Here at work.
And so it's not about health. It's about politics. It's crazy.
Right. Here at work, one of the first things I asked, somebody's like, well, my daughter got COVID. And I'm like, oh, I'm sad. Sorry to hear that. Did she get the vaccine? And they're like, well, no. And I said, well, best of luck to her. I'm sorry. I don't, she chose not to get it. I can't control that. That's her decision.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But go back to something you said real quick. So in Mexico, you said that the government advised that it's a good idea.
Yeah. So with the cartel and all the fun stuff in Mexico, you can't really come out and say you have to do anything. Right. Doesn't really work well. So they have, it literally is a piece of paper. It says basically in Spanish advice. It's highly recommended to get the COVID vaccine. It's been proven to save lives.
I think there's two things to that. I think one, that actually is more in line with how human nature is, of not being told what to do, but just giving information and letting you decide. Anytime somebody tells you what to do, especially for half the population who don't follow rules anyways, the last thing they want to do is follow that, being told what to do. That's number one. But number two, I can't help but think that if COVID had occurred and not been such a big issue at the beginning, during the change of an administration, this would have been totally different. And it didn't matter what administration was in. If this had happened this year, with the Biden administration starting this year, and they had all this time to work on it as an administration, it probably would have been different. Or if it happened in 2017, and
I'll go even farther.
It would have been different.
I'll go even farther. Think about the day tomorrow, 20 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think about a year later when you couldn't find anybody without an American flag sticker or T-shirt or hat or something. How would America react to COVID then?
Yeah,
it would have. I thought about that earlier.
Very different. It probably been very different. because now it's not about health, and it's not about it's about a political party telling me something and I'm not going to do it as well. Now there are people in between. There are people who may have honest objections or are really critical thinking. I would actually put myself in that category. I'll just put myself out there. Here's where I'm at. I'm just going to lay it on the table. I've always voted Republican. It's not because I love the Republican Party. It's because I can't handle abortion. Come at me all you want. That's my deal. I can't go to that side. So that's my politics of it all, right? And as far as the vaccine goes, what troubles me, and I was talking to my wife about this, I've had other vaccines, right? It's not like I'm anti-vaccine. I have other vaccines in my body right now from growing up. Those kind of things happen. What I struggle with, and this is my issue, is I really I actually vocalized it recently. I don't trust the system anymore. Like I struggle with the system, and I don't know if it had been different if Trump were still. I don't know.
What do you mean by
that? I struggle with the system. I don't trust the government. I think that they lie. I think that
the government didn't create the vaccine.
I think big pharma is making tons of money and they're in their pockets. Like the system, the whole thing. But that's what I struggle with. Is the system.
Do you not go to the doctor?
I don't. When was the last time I went to the doctor?
Touche, Kyle.
I haven't been to the doctor in years.
Do you not take any?
I'm very healthy.
You don't take anything. You don't take like Tylenol or anything like that.
I'm right there with you, Trey.
I will, but very rarely.
I would get behind.
I've been fortunate. I don't know. This is my experience. I don't trust big pharma. Let me tell you this as well. 2 years ago, and I'm sorry, Nico, I'm gonna let you talk in just a minute, but I'm gonna share the story. 2 years ago, my wife was dealing with anxiety really bad. She went to the doctor. We couldn't quite figure out what was going on, but it ended up being anxiety. It looked like maybe some respiratory issues. We weren't sure. This was like 3 years ago before COVID. This was long ago. Okay. We went to a doctor, and the first thing they did was they put her on anti-anxiety medicine that we then found out later is completely addictive, like terribly addictive. And it took us 2 months of getting her off of that when she was on it for 1 month. And we have some friends who were very helpful in that, helping us understand that. We did a lot of research. We were very upset at the doctors for this because their only response was take this medication. And when that starts to wean off, you go back and go, gosh, I don't feel like it's working anymore. And then they give you a stronger dosage and it just keeps adding up. And so that situation happened for us. And I went, I don't know that I trust these people with my medical. I don't trust them. I don't go to the doctor very much. I may sound crazy and psychotic as a conspiracy theorist, but this is our experience. This is where I struggle is with the whole system.
I understand people who have your view, Trey, than I do a lot of other people. Because if you're anti-medicine in general, sure, fine. I understand that. What I don't get is the people who are like, I don't trust the vaccine, but I trust the monoclonal antibodies, or I don't trust the vaccine, but I trust horse dewormer. I don't trust the vaccine. I don't trust doctors who are telling me to go get the vaccine. But then when you get sick, where do you go?
It's a risk. I completely agree with that.
But
it's a huge risk.
If you're like, hey, if I got sick, I still don't trust these doctors and I'm going to stay at home and, not go anywhere. Fine, do that. But to me, it's hypocritical to go, I don't trust science. I don't want the vaccine, and then go to the doctor when you get sick.
Now,
here's the fun
okay,
line.
real quick. Yeah, it's not that what he just said. It's not that I don't trust science and I don't trust medicine. I don't trust the utilization of it. My fiance is
that's probably more accurate. Yeah,
for the largest Catholic hospital in the South. She runs a clinic here, and let me tell you, if I want to go play golf at Augusta National, all she has to do is call one of her drug reps, and I play there. If I want to play, if I want food,
you've been holding out on that information. We got to talk later. Keep going. Oh my god!
It's because I've sent you 2 invites to sign up for our golf tournament, and you still haven't.
I'm getting there.
You gotta give him a shirt. Yeah, you got to step up your Instagram followership, Nate. He won't.
Am I the only one here who lives in
Instagram followers?
Who lives in a gated golf community?
I do.
I don't. Oh, there you go, Nathan.
Yeah, and I don't even play golf. I've never.
I think Trey does live in a. Yeah,
you don't.
He does live in a golf court.
But she every day, when you walk into a doctor's office, you always walk down that hallway, right? Before you go pay for your billing. Always by the billing, randomly, there's that break room. If you look in there, there's always catered food. You think that the company just caters food in every day for their employees? People buy services. People buy a certain medicine they want to sell you. It is not what you think. There is, I could go on for hours. I'm sorry.
Right. So my question though, sorry, and Raquel, you get to go next because Coleman's making fun of me in the chat. But my question for you, Trey, is I get not trusting the system. I understand that situation is horrible. And it is the BS or the bullshit of our healthcare system. But what do you have to say of millions of people have gotten the vaccine at this point? I got it back in April. Nothing happened. Like you have real life examples. Like how do you kind of qualify that part of it of like now that the numbers are in there? Like how do you look at like the millions of people and like, oh, as much as I don't trust the system, it's shown that it's fine.
It's a great question, and it is hypocritical, and I'll tell you why. And I'm the first to admit it. I'm a human. I am a hypocrite just as much as anybody else. My parents are vaccinated. My in-laws are vaccinated. I'm happy they are. They're old. They're more susceptible to struggles if they got it. So I get that. So I'm not trying to say necessarily that I don't believe in the vaccine. My struggle is more just my personal experience with medicine in general. My struggle is the fact that I'm a pretty healthy person. My struggle is the fact that I've been all over the freaking world in the last 18 months and have not had any issues. But I also know this, and I'll
You're lucky.
Well, maybe lucky, maybe healthy. Who knows? Maybe I've already had it and I was asymptomatic. I don't know. I've never had any symptoms, right?
Yeah.
But I've been around all the places. But here's the deal, and I totally get this. If something were to happen to me today and I broke my leg, I'd go to a doctor and get it fixed. If I had an issue with if I had a brain aneurysm, I know they'd rush me to the hospital and they'd do work, and I'd be thankful for the work that they did. I'm not anti-medicine in general. I'm really struggling with the system when I think of the pharmaceutical companies and the government working together. That is a real struggle. That is a real
You know what?
struggle.
If you get the vaccine, everybody's like, oh, it has a damn chip in it. And, I came back to work after I got it. I said, hey, and I was joking around. I said, hey, I guess I'm 5G now. And, I said, the way I looked at it, I said,
people are worried about a chip, but they'll carry this around.
Right. Well, I'm positive
about being traced.
Right. I'm happy about it because hell, if I have a heart attack, they'll know where I'm at. If I get lost, they'll probably find me.
You don't mind being on the grid is what you're saying, Nathan. All right. So real quick,
let's go.
You've been patiently waiting. Let's go.
I fully agree with you, Trey, 100%. My husband and I actually had this conversation this morning because I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I used to get the flu vaccine and then I got the flu every year. And then I stopped getting the vaccine and I focused on my own health and I stayed healthy. I had COVID last year and I feel like I have antibodies in my system. I'm not going around anyone that's older, but I agree with you. I think that the fact that it's being pushed so hard, the fact that they're paying people to get the vaccine, there's just something that doesn't compute to me. It's just because it's a business, right? It's totally a business. They're out there to make money. And I feel like there were things that were probably skipped over, that a normal vaccine should be in beta testing a lot longer than these were. I don't know. I guess I'm just holding out to be the very last person to be forced to get it. How I look at it now.
I'm also confused on where, Biden was completely against the vaccine, completely against it, spoke out against it, said, I'm not getting it. But, it just shows how much politics is involved. That's what bothers me.
I think that's the struggle. And so here's at the end of the day, here's where I stand. All right. I haven't, maybe I'm lucky, John. It's very possible I'm just lucky, but I haven't had any issues. I'm healthy. I exercise. I eat well. I think about what I eat. I drink water only. I feel like I'm doing the best I can to take care of my health all the time. The idea of going along with the big pharmacy on this is a struggle for me personally. Now, I have a cruise scheduled for January 2nd. And if they say I can't go on that cruise unless I'm vaccinated, I will probably get vaccinated because I really want to go on that cruise. But that's where I'm at, is that I struggle. I mean, my mom sends me information like weekly, like this person is your age, they were healthy, they got COVID and they struggled. I'm not saying that's not true or not real, but I'm saying my personal experience and my willingness to take on the risk is such that it's hard for me to just go and get it. It's just very hard right now. It's a mental block. And here's the other issue. Like, the other thing that probably has more of an impact than I even realize is when the media and other people say that people like me are stupid.
Mhm.
When I feel like I have some logic that in my mind makes some sense, and it's hard to overcome that. It's very hard to overcome that. So this is a much bigger issue, I think. And it could be, it's a much more complex, challenging issue than I think. Like my wife, for example, my wife's a rule follower. Okay. Her company, Missouri Baptist University, said all professors have to have the vaccination. She went and got it. Didn't think twice. Totally fine. Right. She doesn't have this struggle that I have. We talk about this all the time. We have these good conversations often. And I try to work through it. And I try to listen. I try to read. Meshach sends me all kinds of great information. I read a ton of that after our last call. So I really feel like I'm trying to think through this and do what's best for me. I'm not at that point where I'm going to get it right now.
Can I
So
make
you
a
guys
point?
feel,
Because you mentioned something earlier that really was personal to me, and I have never told this story publicly, but I feel that it's
You about to on
Are you
YouTube.
sure the word on the street is where you want to do this?
Yeah,
You're on
okay.
YouTube live.
I don't care.
Letting you know.
So I am, and I've been very public on my LinkedIn about the fact that I am very, very much a supporter of mental health issues and stuff like that. And mostly because I am an ultra radiant, rapid cycling bipolar. And I'm an early onset bipolar. So I developed bipolarity before I hit puberty. And I survived most of my life without medication. I didn't start taking antidepressants until my children were born because, I'm a workaholic. So without kids, I could work all day. I would go out and party, and then I would sleep until I decided to come back out again. But, kids don't understand that daddy really can't be around you right now. So I went on antidepressants. And Trey, you are very, very, very right to mistrust the use of pharmaceuticals. I completely agree with you because every time I would go to my doctor, my psychiatrist, my therapist, I would say, I still feel like crap. And they would go, okay, let's up your dose. So this went on for 5 years where like my mood was a fog. I wasn't having mood fits because I just spent most of the time not feeling anything. And what really literally changed my life was when I became a medical marijuana patient. And
you got applause from Raquel. I don't know if you saw that, but Raquel just applauded.
I hit it for the longest time because I'm a 6-figure professional. And people don't see 6-figure professional and marijuana user.
You're right. But if you can get rid of the prescription drugs for something that's natural, I fully support it. 100%.
I still take the prescription drugs, but I'm on a lower dose than I was when I first started out. And I'm actually functional all the time without breakdowns.
Good for you.
And that's because I added in natural medicine to override what the pharmaceutical industry told me was just take more and it'll fix itself. No, it won't. So I get the reticence for vaccines. Trust me, I do. And I've always voted Democrat, but I don't believe that the choice to get the vaccine or not should be political at all. Politics should have never have been brought into it because you're right, Trey. The problem is everybody, you say, I have questions about the vaccine. And then people immediately go, "Oh, you're an idiot, bro." No, you should question what you put in your body. So what did I do before I got my vaccine? I looked at the entire process documented for how the vaccine was developed. And then I looked at, because my biggest fear was, how did they develop it so quickly? Because, as much as people are like, oh, Operation Warp Speed helped this and that, whatever, that's my fear, was that they developed something that, they put together because it seemed like it worked, and they just rushed it out to people. And then I realized that the vaccine that they're using, the mRNA vaccines, are actually modular. So what they do is they built the mRNA, it's a structure, and then in order to make it work, they have to find the code of the coronavirus and then teach your body to recognize that and kill it. Normally, like Raquel doesn't really have to get the vaccine because her body already has the antibodies that the vaccine would teach her body to make. Now, that doesn't mean that she shouldn't get it. I'm saying that she has a lesser need for it than someone who didn't have the vaccine and hasn't gotten COVID. Will the vaccine still help her? Yes. Right. It would be much better because it'll protect her from getting COVID again as easily, but her body still has a natural defense to it. What we need to do as a society is that we need to stop focusing on our freedoms and start focusing on our responsibilities. Because society does not work off of freedom. There's this great quote that I forgot the lady's name, but she's a famous anthropologist. And what she said was that the first thing that she looks for in order to define a civilization is proof of somebody having an incapacitating injury that had healed. Because that meant that somebody stayed with that person while they couldn't care for themselves and cared for them. That's the basis of society. So I didn't get the vaccine for myself. I got the vaccine because I would feel horrible if I got COVID, I survived, I passed it to someone else, and they didn't.
Yeah, and that's the same actually message that Mishak shared with me the last time that we spoke. And first of all, Nico, thank you for sharing your story real quick. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing your story. Yeah, keep going.
My daughter was actually exposed to COVID on the school bus last week because the girl that she sits next to on the bus every day got COVID. So it's fun because I am I'm somebody who's vaccinated. My kids, thankfully, are also vaccinated. So when they told us that, she had been exposed, and this is a girl that we know my daughter is around constantly. We took her in, we got her a COVID test, we got both the rapid and the PCR. She's negative. So to me, that proves, because my daughter is immune deficient. So that proves that vaccine helped her not to get COVID. And that's worth it to me. I understand that there's a risk. I understand that I could have a health problem later on because I have this vaccine in my body. I take that risk because there are people like my daughter who have a worse chance of surviving it than I do.
That's well said. I appreciate it, Nico. Thank you for sharing your story and sharing that with us. I think that actually has a more of an impact on me than anything else is, the risk that I could be to somebody else. That has a stronger impact than any other argument anybody could make for me, because everything else to me doesn't make a lot of sense. Honestly, it's just hard to make sense of it.
What about
Good. Well, I'm going to come to you, Mishak, because you shared some great information with me that I read, and I appreciate you sharing that. And so, this is, here's what I'd like to see. First of all, let me just go back. I love this group. This is what this group is all about. We all have different views on this, but we're having a great conversation. I wish we could do this more often. I don't feel like in the public square, this can actually happen, where you have this kind of conversation where I can share what I'm thinking, Nico can share what he's thinking, Mishak, Kyle, we can all share these opinions that are a little different and do it within a way to try to help each other out and explain it. I think that's so helpful. So first of all, let me say that. And then Mishak, go ahead and talk about the economy, which we talked about earlier, but go ahead and share that.
Well, I was just adding, like you were talking about, like, it's such an important cause for you, the unvaccinated that can't be vaccinated, or the vulnerable, that no matter what they do, they're still going to be vulnerable. But also for me, a big part is like, man, we got to do anything we can do right now for the economy, because it's, there's little rumblings that are happening that are really a little troubling. And I was just adding that into what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I think it's a real concern. Let me just, and we've talked a lot about this for quite a while. I think this is way more complex than people are making it, and possibly much simpler than people are making it, if that makes sense at all. Like, I think there's people who have genuine thoughts and they're trying to work through it. I'm a natural skeptic anyways on almost anything. So I have more questions. I need more evidence. I need to understand it better to make more sense. I'm not stupid, right? But there's other people who don't need that. Like my wife doesn't need that. She went and got the vaccine. It was a no-brainer for her, and she struggles with like why I think this way. But this is what I'm working through, and it's a real challenge. Mishak, you sent that information to me, and I'm sure that you're probably like, this will finally do it. He will go get the vaccine. And I'll say this, I'm closer. I'm closer. But it's very difficult.
Hey, Trey, what do you think about?
Henry, welcome. What's up?
Hey, thank you. What do you think about these companies now? There's, my wife, for example, her company is saying that if you don't get the vaccine, basically you're going to be without a job. I mean, we're going to see this a lot more in these companies.
That's a real challenge, because again, I think that much of the tactics that have been taken fly in the face of how people think on the human psyche. I think it's a struggle. Now, I mean, can a business tell you that you can't work because you have other things going on? I mean, it's a private business. They could probably make some of those determinations. I don't know if things are going to be on court. I'm not a legal expert, but it doesn't feel good, I guess, is the way I would say that. That probably is a terrible response, but I don't know. That's tough.
So a point about that, the last couple companies I've worked for have had morality clauses. So if I said something messed up on social media and it got back to my company, I could be fired for it. So we've already agreed that companies can fire us for things that are not illegal. I don't understand why people now have a problem with companies that say you have to be vaccinated in order to come onto our property, because it's not yours. Like,
I'm with you on that, but here's the difference. Me saying something that's offensive and gets me fired is way different than me and my health. Mm-hmm. Those are two different things.
But your health can affect somebody else's. I think that's the challenge that these companies are looking at, is you have the potential to pass this on to somebody else.
I'm with you, John, on that. Now, would they hold that standard for somebody that works remotely and is never in the office? Are they going to be required to sit at home and work and be forced? I mean, I don't know. How far is that policy going to go?
But like we've told, like for the last few years, we have pretty much spent time, or at least the government has spent time, defining companies as persons. So you've said that, for companies like Chick-fil-A that don't believe in reproductive rights, which is, their argument.
Abortion. Go ahead. Let's call it what it is.
Well, and then there were other companies that didn't want to have like their healthcare pay for like contraceptives and stuff like that. But you've told them that they have the right to mark that off of their healthcare and stuff like that. So your company already has a hand in your health, because they can tell you what you can and cannot get. Their health insurance that they're legally required to give to you would cover. I don't see why people say that companies should be able to make every other decision as if they were a person that you have no right to work for, like you have to do what they tell you to do. But then the vaccine is like your stopping point.
Yeah, because again, those other things aren't requiring you to put something in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they said you have to eat this food to work here, could they do that?
My friend who used to work for Pepsi was not allowed to drink Coke products.
That's crazy.
Well, you definitely shouldn't
Wouldn't
work
apply
there.
with me.
That's
true. You get fired if you have the Coke or Pepsi in your fridge if somebody from the company comes over your house.
Anybody at the company, even if you are having a cookout in your own house and a company employee sees Coke in your fridge when you are on Pepsi's payroll, they will fire you.
No. They will not fire you.
Coca-Cola bounty then, right?
They will not fire you. They will go back to the document that you signed when you started working there saying you wouldn't do it. So you violated the contract that you signed. They didn't fire you. It's very simple. They don't fire you. They just fill out the paperwork. They're nice enough to fill it out. You sign this document saying you wouldn't, they don't fire you.
Which nobody reads.
Yeah, just throw it in the new hire paperwork,
That's right.
And on a side note, you had like 5 other bullet points in your email, and this could go on forever.
Yeah. I just want to add one thing, like getting out of like contemporary politics and stuff like that. The Greatest Generation, which has kind of universal love across the aisle, they did the same thing during the Spanish flu. They mandated it. Companies mandated it. Governments mandated it. It was just less polarization and less, I think. Yeah, I mean,
that's the key.
Because realistically, I know the argument, but the same argument, there's always been vaccine mandates. Companies don't have to worry about that because there's already vaccine mandates with kids, and it's been for so long that they don't have to worry about a lot of. If suddenly they had to worry about TB, hell yes, they would require TB like vaccinations. It's just economics at this point. If we take out all these political stuff, it's just economics. A business can't afford to keep making people sick and losing people. That's ultimately just an economics. It's to me, it's going to be inevitable regardless of our political leanings because the economics are there.
I think we also have to address the fact that if the companies don't say that you have to get a vaccine and somebody goes to work and catches COVID and gets sick, they're going to sue the company for not mandating a vaccine. You know somebody will try to do it.
It's the damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
But I mean, isn't it?
Move to Tennessee, I could fire you for wearing an orange shirt if I didn't like it. Tough shit. You don't like it, don't work here.
No, that's Texas too. You wear a blue shirt on a white shirt day and you can get walked out the door that day. I mean, that's Texas too.
Yeah. Well, I've told people here, if you microwave fish for lunch, I'm firing you.
That is reasonable, though. That is reasonable.
That's good leadership.
Company should have that rule.
Well, I can say that this conversation definitely went a direction I didn't anticipate, but I really appreciate all the input. I mean, I think that, again, this is one of the great things about our community is, this community has provided a place to be able to hear different opinions, and that's wonderful. So I really appreciate that. If my cruise was in November, I'd probably be vaccinated.
Yeah, the challenge I've got is I've got a big wedding I'm going to tomorrow, and there's a bunch of people there that aren't vaccinated. My folks are going to be there. My dad's 90, my mother's 86, and I'm not very comfortable about it. It's something that we've weighed upon. Do we even go or not? We're going to go, but my wife and I are going to probably be the only ones that are wearing masks. But so be it. It's something that's I think every family is dealing with right now too. Is you got people on both sides of the aisle in the family. And I guess the one other thing, I'll just make a comment that kind of, because it is so polarized, the thing that really upsets me a little bit is that there's a lot of the people out there that are against the vaccine are actually vaccinated. And they're the conservative radio hosts, and they're the ones that you see on the news that several of them have already died. And then when they're on their deathbed, they're saying, well, I wish I would have gotten vaccinated. So you see that every day on the news just about lately. So it's a mess. It's not going to be an easy fix, but somehow we got to get over this and get this behind us. I mean, I thought we were behind it back a couple of months ago. I mean, it was great. Took off my mask, was eating in restaurants and doing everything like it was normal again, but not anymore. So
everybody likes to play craps until they roll a 7.
Very true. Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll be coming back to this. I actually had a poll, but I think we covered everything in the poll on that. So let's talk about something a little bit more light, I guess, in nature. Because as you guys know, now that it's fall, we do have football back, which is very exciting. My Kansas City Chiefs are starting off with the Cleveland Browns this weekend, and a great matchup between Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to launch a quick poll. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I don't think I let you guys do it. There we go. I got it this time. And we're listening to, right now we're listening to Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. If you like football, take the poll. If you don't, take it anyways. We'll talk about it in just a minute.
No one likes it. We're looking at the results and no one likes it.
Oh, we're looking at results.
They're all zero.
Speaking out of the first football. There we go. Are you seeing it now?
Yeah.
Looks like we're more beach volleyball people.
Very good.
Sent you a text, Trey, while you're doing that.
All right, appreciate all of that.
If you didn't see the game last night between the Bucks and the Cowboys, you might not have the right answer to this question.
I did not see the game.
Brady did what he always does at the very end.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
My wife makes me watch the Bucks.
Well, there could be worse things, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
at least you're watching good football.
She switched into the Bucks with Brady.
I'm a Washington football fan, and my neighbor is a Cowboys fan. So
great pairing.
Enjoying life in the cellar. I like it.
I was gonna say,
I'm a Steelers fan.
How many wins this year for the NFC East division champ? 7, 6, 5.
You know what? It depends on when Fitzpatrick's wheels fall off. Because like we all know that Fitzpatrick normally has like a really good year and then like a really bad year. So he had a really bad year. I'm just hoping that this will be his good year.
Yeah, but he's getting better with age. I swear that guy is.
You got 4 games.
Magic just gets better and better.
4 games, and then Fitzy falls down.
Oh my goodness. Hey Diana, how are you? I saw you sneak in. You haven't said anything. How's everything? Your camera's on today. Looks great in your office.
No, it's good. It's busy.
How's the new gig?
Yeah, it's busy, which is a good thing. So
good. Hey, Sequel. Yeah. That's awesome. Very good.
Sorry, it's Greg.
Well, you know what? I did.
Oh, Greg. Sorry, Coleman.
I did get into a.
Coleman, leave. Sorry, Diana. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say, like this week, I got hit by I got in an accident, which sucked.
Oh.
The driver hit me. He was in a company truck. It wasn't like a semi or anything. It was a pickup truck. So my car is kind of wrecked.
Ouch.
Oh,
you're okay though? You're okay?
No. I was by myself and I'm fine. I was just a little pissed off.
I'm sure. Well, I hope that you feel better, and I hope you get a new car out of the deal. That would be nice. But a bummer to have to deal with that. Nobody likes dealing with accidents. So, okay. So we're listening to I Love Rock and Roll. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit and talk about football real quick. And then we've got a special picture to show on This Week in Pictures. And then we're going to call it a day. My gosh, this hour is flying by. All right. So question 1, do you prefer NFL, college, or high school football? Most prefer NFL, and only 2 that prefer college football. Kyle, are you a college football guy? Or don't?
Of course. I actually like football, not watching the same product over and over.
Nice. College football is fun. I wonder how the NIL rules, if that might start changing the landscape over the next 4 or 5 years in terms of recruiting and parity potentially, and
transfer rule. I think conference is changing, all that stuff.
It's becoming a mini pro league is what it is. It's really that's
100%.
And then only one of you don't like football. All right, great. That's awesome. It's supposed to be good. So Raquel, that's you? Oh wow. Okay. All right. What's your sport of choice? What do you like to watch? Anything?
Nope. Don't have one. I'm
Nothing.
gonna go hike in the woods.
Gonna go hike. All right. I like it. Get away from the TV altogether. Probably better
Yep.
for you anyways. All right. Question 2. Which team has a better chance of getting back to the Super Bowl? There's only one right answer here. 7 of you are wrong. Actually, 8 of you are wrong. It's going to be the Chiefs, without a doubt. They've got an offensive line now. Are you kidding me? Patrick Mahomes back there just picking people apart. Oh my gosh. And you just never know. You know, Brady might get injured. He hasn't so far, but you just never know. The dude's 44.
You can only go the same way for Mahomes too many times.
You already jinxed it.
Brady
Trey.
gets injured.
Don't know yet.
I hope Brady
do.
gets
This is what I
injured
do.
and then Cam Newton comes in. Being
I
in New
totally
England, I would
jinxed.
love if
That's
Newton
the
came in
storyline.
and won a Super Bowl. It'd be the greatest thing in the world.
Gosh,
They'd be
Juan, I thought
so
I did
mad
jinx
up
it.
here.
That's what I do. I jinx stuff like that all the time. All right, question 3. Which team is most likely to win the college football playoff championship this season? Oh, it's a little bit of a battle between Alabama and Georgia, and 3 of you chose other. So who am I missing here? What do you guys think?
I just put other because I don't really follow college football.
Fair enough. I didn't give you the option. Bye, Raquel. I didn't give you the option if I don't like football.
Neither do the people that pick Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Touche. All right, question 4. Will COVID impact this year's football season? We're back here again. 7
Yes.
of you think games will be postponed or canceled. 1, no, nothing. 1, not sure. And then, of course, 1 doesn't like football, so who cares? So we'll see what happens on that. It's going to be fascinating because you see these stadiums just packed out. I know a lot of colleges have mandated vaccines, so maybe that's some mitigation against that. I don't know. But you got to know that half of the stands at a college football game are alumni. That's almost in every case. You know, you go to University of Oregon, one complete side of the stands is alumni, the other side is students, and then they got some places for visitors. I mean, that's how most college football stadiums are. So it's not just students that are going to those games. So we'll see what happens, but those stadiums have been absolutely packed out so far. So I will say this, as a fan of football, it's much more entertaining with fans there.
100%.
We'll see if it has a problem or not. Okay, we're going to transition from this because we have a really special picture and story to show today in This Week in Pictures. So Nathan, why don't you take it over and share your screen if you can do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through real quick. There's 14 pictures, but they're real fast, I promise.
Excellent.
See if I can get it to go. Let me know when you see that.
No,
Right
not yet.
here.
There, it's coming up. There we go.
All right.
There it is.
So here we
Got
go.
it.
So this is David. He's the GM of the hotel that I go to every time. Been there many years. He was doing a little secret thing where he went and worked with new employees as a bartender. So he wore the outfit. So I took a picture with him that night. That's a Mexican grocery cart. If you've never seen one, it's actually made by hand out of pallets. Blanton's in Mexico is $99. And they have more than you'll ever want. There's the hotel. So the second night I turned 40,
Truffles.
they gave me like some cool stuff and some tequila. That's me and Diana. Let me see here. Going through. So the Mexican Marines are in full force all around your hotel while you're there, so you feel safe. Cartel has been pushing cocaine and pot really, really hard. So these people walk by all day. They won't talk to you, but they're there for your protection. Remember the seaweed issue where everybody was posting the seaweed? This is the remnants of all the seaweed. So not many people got on the beach this year. So it was mainly seaweed stuff. I know this is a weird picture, but the guy on the right, if you know who Pitbull is, that's Pitbull.
That's great.
The rapper.
Gained a few pounds.
That's not
Mr. Worldwide.
He's getting a few parts.
That's not
That
real
is
five.
That is Mr. Worldwide as of
That's
last
Mr.
week.
Visited the buffet.
He has gained some weight, and
Wow.
I want that picture. I gotta show my wife that one.
okay, I'll send it to you.
He got his COVID 25, not COVID 15.
Yeah, no, he has
Wow.
gained some weight, but hey, the
That's
full
impressive.
picture. Here we go. I got engaged.
There it is.
Hey.
Glad to do it.
Congratulations.
love her a lot.
Congratulations.
So we are good to go. We're happy.
Congratulations.
Wow,
Congrats,
that's awesome,
Nate.
man.
Yeah,
So cool.
that's we had a good trip. We're glad to be back. Logistics is crazy. So it's good to just get away for a little bit.
Yeah, always good to unplug and get refreshed.
The-
and think a
I
little bit.
100% did not believe the guy when he started talking and someone asked him if he was Pitbull. And then that night there was a concert at the Coco Bongo in Cancun. It was $1,200 a ticket and it was Pitbull. And he was there. So
Same
he
guy.
apparently has been eating well. But I also know that he's signed up with Echelon, the sport bike that's made here in Chattanooga. So I don't know.
Maybe he gained that weight in order to show how to lose the weight. Maybe that's.
I still don't think it was him, but he sang at the resort and it sounded like him. So
$1,200 a ticket. That's got to be somewhat legit, I would imagine. So, well,
not
those
something
pictures
I'd
are
pay
way
for.
better than any pictures that I would have shown today because I basically made a garden landscape in my front yard and put a fence up. Nothing too exciting for me. So very cool to see.
Well, I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
I appreciate you letting me do that.
Awesome. Also, to everybody else, listen, this was kind of a crazy show, but thank you so much for being here. I count all of you as friends and value your input. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Nico, thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. And just honored that you would feel comfortable enough to share that with us. And again, looking forward to seeing you guys back here for another episode. Episode 75 is next week of Word on the Street, powered by Lean Solutions Group. So you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the flip side.
Yeah, y'all have a good one.